What is the weather like in Calgary? Is it really that cold? What are Chinooks? Should you be concerned about hail? And how long is the warm season? Stick around because we're going to be answering all these questions and more in today's video, and you might even be surprised by a few things that make the weather here more unique than anywhere else in Alberta. Hey, it's Anthony Taylor, your local guide and realtor, and today we're going to be talking about all things weather in Calgary. So if you're considering moving here or you're taking a trip to go see the Rocky Mountains, we're going to go over everything that you need to know and when the best time is to visit. Calgary is located in southern Alberta and is about 300 kilometers from the US border and 45 minutes east of the Rocky Mountains. Because of this, the weather here in Calgary is much more ideal than most of the areas in the province. Let's go through each season and what you should expect. Starting with the winter, because that's typically what most people's concerns are when they are moving here, especially if you are coming from a warmer or more humid climate. The winters here can certainly feel long and cold, especially being in the northern hemisphere, where in the winter the sun sets around 4:30 p.m. and rises at 8 a.m. This means if you're working a typical 9-to-5 job, you won't be seeing much sunlight through the winter months. Winter technically starts on December 21st, but locals know to expect cold and snow much earlier in the year. The cold season typically runs from November to February, but things start to cool down at the beginning of October. The first snowfall generally happens towards the later end of October, but can come sooner or even later. The first few snowfalls typically don't stick around very long, as Calgary is known for large temperature swings, and that is true no matter what season we are in. The average daily low for October is 0 degrees, in November it drops down to -8, December is -12, while the coldest month is typically January, where the average low is -14. But how cold can it really get here? Well, you can see the daily record lows here, with the temperatures dropping below -30 almost once every year. When this happens, it can definitely be very cold, especially if you factor in the wind chill. A -30 day can feel even closer to -40. The coldest day actually ever on record in Calgary was a chilly -43 back in 1943. I wouldn't let this scare you though, as these extreme temperatures don't stick around very long and are generally happening during the nighttime. This is more of an exception than the norm. We often see many days in the pluses during the winter months, with snow often coming and going during this time. But as I mentioned, the temperature is far from consistent here, as we are located in close proximity to the Rocky Mountains, meaning we are susceptible to Chinook winds, which can bring massive temperature shifts in as little as 24-hour periods. It's not unheard of for temperatures to shift by over 30 degrees in this time. This can often feel like a blessing during those cold winter months, as you might even feel like it's t-shirt and patio weather outside during this experience. But with the temperature changes, some believe this actually causes headaches. Although this has actually been scientifically debunked, some Calgarians still swear by it. Additionally, the air here is quite dry, and it can be very noticeable if you're coming from a more humid climate. During the winter months, it is recommended to have a humidifier in your home to combat the dry air. The concern with the dry air, if you're not used to it, is it can actually cause quite a strain on your sinuses, and in extreme events even cause nosebleeds. So make sure you invest in a good humidifier. Calgary is also known as the sunniest major city in Canada, with over 330 days of sunlight year round. This means even though it can be cold and the ground is covered in snow, at least the sun will be shining, which in my opinion actually makes quite a huge difference during those cold winter months. Winter ends on March 20th, and that's when the daily averages start to sit around 0 degrees, and daily highs will reach as high as +18 during this time. With that said, you can also see some nights that still get around -16. You can start to see how the weather really fluctuates here. It's often referred to as Alberta weather when you get to see all 4 seasons in a day. The weather will gradually start to get warmer and warmer throughout the spring months, and then it'll peak through June to August, as this is the warmest part of the year in Calgary, with temperatures floating around the mid-20s to low 30s during this time. And if you ask me, this is actually the ideal temperature. No matter where you are, it's not too warm and it's not too cold. Evening temperatures during this time are anywhere between +10 to +15 degrees. And the great thing about summer here is the sun doesn't set until around 10 p.m., giving you plenty of extra hours to enjoy the warmth and the day. So while you have to put up with some dark, cold days in the winter, the summer months more than make up for it here. Here you can see actually the hottest days on record for the previous 12 years. The summertime is also when the city sees the most rainy days, with 13 to 17 days on average per month. However, it is still not very humid even during the summer. Overall, the city does not see an extreme amount of rain, even though there have been extreme events in the past that have caused significant damage due to flooding. You might have also heard stories of the hail in Calgary and the damage it has caused in the past. While it is true that Calgary is more susceptible to hailstorms than most areas, it is rare to see severe ones that cause a lot of damage, like the ones we have witnessed in recent years. Overall, Calgary has very unpredictable weather when it comes to the day-to-day forecast. You do get to experience the highs and lows of each season and everything that they bring. No matter what time of year though, Calgary is a beautiful place to visit or to live. Whether it's snow-covered winter days or vibrant sunny summers, I highly recommend coming to North America's most livable city. But I'd love to hear from you. What do you guys think about the weather here in Calgary? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, consider watching one of these up here, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with all things Calgary. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.